Hello and welcome to this clip where we explore the Digital Finance Cube. My name's Courtney and my role here is to take you through learning objective number 1. And the key thing here is looking at opportunities and challenges posed by digital transformation, two sides of the same coin. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to have a look at the Digital Finance Cube. To set the scene, think about Tesla. Tesla came out earlier this year and said they bought a $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, but more importantly, they plan to accept it as a payment. Now, things have changed later on in the year, but this is a radical thing for an organization. So they are going to use cryptocurrency. And what does this mean for others? So the key thing here, is this an opportunity? Is this a challenge? What are you going to do about it? Should another company like the one you're working with, or major corporates or non-for-profit institutions, for example, be purchasing Bitcoin? Should they use it as an investment, a place to store spare cash? Isn't it pretty volatile? Should companies accept cryptocurrency payments? Isn't that normally for organizations playing around in the dark web? How can you be prepared for this type of technical innovation? If your boss has asked you to go down this path and purchase some Bitcoin or start accepting Bitcoin for payment, could you actually do it? Do you know how to set it up? How do you stay on top of all of these changes? So learning objective 1 is all about opportunities and challenges, and it's helpful to have a framework to piece all of this together. And so the Digital Finance Cube is really powerful at doing that because it shows the sort of the product areas or the business functions, so digital financing, investments, money, whatever it might be, but also the different technologies from blockchain, social networks, peer-to-peer types. And then there's the traditional competing with the fintech in terms of the institutions. And sometimes they work well and they lift each other up, and sometimes they're in direct competition. So by looking at that whole sphere, it's helpful then to say, oh, where are our opportunities? Where are our threats? Where are we going to have to be careful? What obstacles do we need to overcome? So the first to mention, digital finance business functions. A couple of examples. For example, if you've used the accounting software package Xero, you'll see that they now allow you to do small business loans attached either themselves or they partner with other providers. Now, more than Xero, QuickBooks or Recon does this as well. And Amazon is another example where they do work and then they add on this extra function. One of the things that's happening with digital finance is it's more than just lending. Xero already has your data, which is good if your company is doing well and they can see you need some money. Not so good if they can see your negative trends. You share your financials directly, you get much faster approval. So everything is less stressful and more efficient. So you can see Xero does more than just provide accounting software. It links you with these other providers. So for example, one of the options there, you can get a line of credit up to $300,000. That's great. It's also fast, simple, and accessible. So these are the accelerators and opportunities that we are finding in the digital finance realm. So that's an opportunity for an organization, but there's also some threats and obstacles, and what are your competitors up to? There's also the downside. So in this financing realm, Greensill was lauded as a fantastic player in the market. $143 billion worth of financing, involved in 175 countries, nearly every country in the world, and it all worked really well until it collapsed. Now, there were issues with the business model they had and the types of insurance being withdrawn and more deep factors than we can explore. But be very, very careful in this realm. It's not all flowers and unicorns and rainbows. There is some downside when things aren't implemented properly. There's a whole range of here. Another one, just to touch on briefly, digital insurances. So Friend Insurance or Friend Insurance is a way, a bit like peer-to-peer and crowd mixed together. So this peer-to-peer model of digital insurance, so instead of going directly to an insurer, it's sort of disintermediating this concept. And if you link friends and families, one of the things you do is you deal with moral hazard, the temptation to claim when you shouldn't, because you'll be hurting your friends and family, and you can also self-insure, so lower premiums and better outcomes if it all goes well. So a good example, a great opportunity of doing things differently. You may have heard of blockchain, and people always seem to talk about this in relation to cryptocurrency. So now we're moving into the different technologies, blockchain, social networks, others like that. Each of these, you need to ask yourself, what's an opportunity? What's a threat? How do I implement this technology? Do I need it? Now, you might think, well, I'm not involved in crypto. I don't need it. But blockchain's being used in travel industry. It's being used in real estate. So here's an example of where blockchain can apply. So a lease transaction takes place, so the blockchain is used as part of doing a property search, because one of the things about blockchain is it's independently verifiable. So anywhere where a lot of trust is required, it can be very, very helpful. Then some pre-lease due diligence, so it's step 1 and step 4. Then when the lease agreement is signed, a smart contract, automated payments can be set up, and finally real-time data analysis. So you might not have thought of this as an option or an opportunity, but you need to consider it for yourself and also keep track of what your competitors are up to. And the third realm is, what are the institutions doing? And in the old days, if you wanted to raise funds, you went to the bank, or you might have done an IPO, you might have listed on a stock exchange. But crowdfunding is a great example where fintech companies have come along and changed the way things are happening. So an example, Crowdcube, and there's a good story. You can research Brewdog and you'll find some pretty interesting clips online. But they have raised, 26 million pounds, over 50 million Australian dollars, raised from over 1,500 investors to brew more beer, to open up pubs, to sell their product. And it's part of an exciting trend. And so this is another example or another opportunity available to you. So if you're in an organization that needs funding, you can look at new and different agile funding methods. As I said earlier with Greensill and borrowing, there are warnings attached. It's very easy to get caught up in the hype of digital finance, but the warnings are just as important as every other generation. New products, new excitement can be used well, but also have significant risks and problems if not used carefully. So that's a summary of the Digital Finance Cube, a powerful tool for identifying and solving that learning objective 1, looking at opportunities, looking at challenges in this realm, and the issues of transformation. So, Xero, Bitcoin, online banks, ING is an example, how to use blockchain. All of these are fascinating areas. So I hope you found this a useful and quick tour as part of your digital finance digital certificate. Thanks.